Hello, it's CraftyRia, and I'm back again to recycle some more Christmas cards. Today I picked these 3 snowmen cards because I thought they were really cool, really pretty. This one is just all glittery. I've had him in my stash for a couple of years, and I wanted to do something really special with this card, but I didn't know what. But I do have an idea now. This one I thought was really cool. It looks like a wood grain. I have an idea for this that I think might look kind of neat. And this one is one of those neat shaped cards. And I thought I would make a 3D card out of it. So let's get started. Let's do the wood guy first. I have my 5x7 card backs. And I have them in 3 different colors. I went ahead and picked, I think, the light blue for this guy, the red one for this. I don't know how much is going to show on this since this card's so big, and I don't really want to lose much of this front. So some of that red might not even show. And I thought I had a hard time picking what color to use for this, but I thought I would use the green since it kind of matches his scarf. Neither one of the blues looked right with him. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to cut him out. I have to be very careful the way I cut this out. I need to cut inside of this white line. Otherwise, if I leave that white line on any one side or 2 sides, it's going to look goofy. But I know I have to cut it off on the top and the bottom at least, so I might as well cut it off on all 4 sides. So I'm going to start by cutting just inside of that line, and we'll go from there. I have both of my paper cutters out because I don't know how well this one is going to do on that glittery card. Now the back of this card is so pretty. That paper is really cool. I'm not going to use this sentiment because I really like this paper. I'm going to put it in my stash. And I'll put a different sentiment on the inside of this card. I'm going to cut as close to the word snow as I can without losing any of it, because I know that's my most limited sign. I'm going to have to cut down some of that top. So I might as well take as much off the bottom as I can. And here we are. That leaves just a tiny bit of the green, which I think is good. I don't want a lot of any color on the sides of this. So I need to mark where I'm going to cut the top off of this card. So I'm going to turn it over and just eyeball it here and decide where I want to cut that. I'm going to make a little mark and then just cut it with this paper trimmer. There, it takes a little bit of that off the top, but I don't think it really messes with the image too much. So I'm going to line it up on my card. Of course I have my card backwards, but it doesn't matter yet because I'm not gluing it down. And there we go. So that's how it's going to be. I'm not going to be able to mat it on anything else, but I have a really cool idea. This card here has these pieces that makes it look like wood. So I thought I would score along those lines just to give them an indentation. So I'm going to take my scoring board and I'm going to find where it lines up. I'm going to line that up right in one of the scoring grooves, and I'm just going to give it a nice score. I'm using my bone folder especially because it's thicker. The scoring tool that comes with this Martha Stewart scoring board is very thin, and I don't know if it probably doesn't show up on the camera, but it shows up in person and it does look really cool. So I'm going to do the same with the other piece and just give it a really deep score. As deep and as wide as I can get it. So it really, I know it doesn't show up on camera, but in person it looks really, really good. Okay, that turned out well. I'm really happy about that. And then since this kind of looks like a piece of distressed wood, I decided I would distress it a little bit more. You don't have to have anything fancy to distress your papers. I just have a nail file, and I'm going to just gently rough up the edges. This is a very coarse nail file, and I'm just running it over the paper. You're not going to really be able to tell on camera, but in person it's giving it a pretty good texture. I think I'm just going to lay it flat and just kind of run this across it. Just a few times. Straight across, because this is an old weathered piece of wood. And I don't know if you can tell, it made some scratches on it, but that's okay. That's kind of what I was going for. And in person you can really see the lines. It looks really, really cool. So that took that piece of shiny cardstock, and it really, I'm going to do the edges a little bit, it really gave it a weathered look without ruining the image at all. I just want to get the edges a little more weathered than the rest of it. And maybe right along where I embossed it, because that's kind of an edge of the wood there too. Okay. I have the gene where I don't know where to stop, when to stop. I don't know if anybody watches Jenna Marbles, but she has that same gene, and she always says that, and I laugh every time because I think I have that same gene. I tend to go and go and go a little bit too much. I have a little bit of paper dust on my hands. So anyway, there you go. And I think it looks great. I don't know, I know you can't really tell on camera, but you could see some of the scratches I made across his hat. I think that's really, really cool. So I really distressed up that paper, and I think it looks fantastic. So I'm just going to adhere him down to the card back, not doing too much other fancy stuff to him. I might run out of tape in my tape runner, but I didn't want to change it before the video because I didn't want to waste any of it. Alright, let's put that down. And that is really, really cool. I don't know that I really want to embellish the front with a lot of other things like shiny stuff, since he is so distressed and he looks like just an old piece of wood. I feel like I should do something, but I'm not exactly sure. So I'm going to stamp the inside. I have these two stamp pads. I have powder blue and blue denim. I think I'll use the powder blue on the inside. And I have this stamp that says, "May all the joys of the season be yours." I think that fits. I use this for almost all of my cards because it really does fit with everything. I'm just going to stamp it up and just set it down in the middle. And when I stamp, I just hold it there for a few seconds to let that ink seep down into the paper. There we go. I had this stamp in my stash for years. I think we've talked about this before. I don't know who made it or where it came from, but that's what it says on the side in case you're interested. I think I got it at Big Lots way back when in a discounted bin of some sort. So there we have that. Now I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to add anything else to this, so I'm going to set it aside for now. Then I think we'll do this snowman. I've had him in my stash for years. I love this snowman. I love snowmen. I don't know if you can tell. So to put him on a 5x7 card, he is off center, and I want to utilize as much of the surrounding image as I can. So I'm going to cut him out of this bottom left part of the card. So first I'm going to cut the card in half. I'm going to go ahead and use this paper trimmer since it is is very thick, and I'm not sure that came out even. I may not have had it in there good. I'm going to place it in again and just, yeah, I did not go even. I am going to take a sliver off just to make sure that side is even and straight. And then I need to see how I want him to be if I make it 5. I'm just going to end up taking just a little bit off that right side, so that will work. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to just cut it at 5 for now. I'm not sure if I want to have much of a border. Probably I do, but I'm not sure how much yet. And this paper trimmer only goes up to 6 inches, so I'm going to have to turn it over and mark where I want to cut it. So I want it just shy of 7, which would be right about there. But I want to see if I'm going to cut his hat. No. Okay, that'll work. And then I'm going to take another sliver off of this side just so it's a little smaller than 5 inches. Because I do want to have a little bit of a blue edge. I need to take a little more off. It's a very noisy cutter with this thick paper. I'm still going to need to take a little bit more off. I'd rather go little by little than take too much. All right, there we go. So that leaves a little bit of a border all the way around. While I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the sentiment on the inside. To make this guy pop up, I'm going to cut him out with my craft knife and my cutting mat. I put a really big cutting mat on my Amazon wish list for Christmas, so that way I can have it on my desk all the time. So we'll see if my wish list comes true. Alright, so I'm going to just use my craft knife and just cut around the image of him. I'm not sure how well this is going to work because it is so thick. Is it cutting? Yes, it is. Okay, good. Okay, we have the snowman cut out, and I'm going to take my scissors and kind of clean up some of these white paper pieces that didn't quite get cut. They're not a big deal, but I don't want them to show. Okay, so I'm going to adhere down this frame first. Oh, I didn't make it straight. There we go. Let's do it again. Blooper time. Okay, so then I have this little guy, and I'm going to pop him up on some foam tape. I have this awesome foam tape that I got at the Dollar Tree, of course. I also found some huge rolls of foam tape on Amazon. I put those on my Christmas wish list too. I don't really need a lot of things for Christmas, but craft supplies obviously always come in handy. These scissors are these Tonic Studios. They're titanium, and they really do a good job not getting all gummed up. I love my cutter bees, but they get gummed up really easy.
Alright, so I'm going to take the backing off.
And before pushing him down, I am going to just kind of lay him on there. Yep, there we go. There, now it doesn't lose anything from the card, but it gives him a little bit of a 3D effect. I think before with the card, he was so flat that he kind of got lost in that background. Now I think I'm going to jazz up his hat a little bit to make it stand out. Get my trusty bling box out, and I have that red bling. Look, that piece is going to be just the right size. I didn't plan that. I don't know if it's going to stick on this glitter very well. So what I'm going to do, since it might not stick on there good, I'm going to take some of this art glitter glue. I'm going to put a little bit of a generous amount on there. It does dry clear, and it'll sink down into the glitter and dry. And then I'm going to put this bling right on top of it. I'm not worried that the glue is showing. And I'm not really going to be able to get it to curve a little bit and stay until that glue dries. So I added a little bling to his hat. Hopefully it'll stay on there. I'm not going to add anything else really to it because I don't think anything else is really going to stick on there. I think that's really cool. Hopefully that bling will stay. I'm going to go ahead and mat this on this paper. Use my glue since I'm almost out of my tape. And my glue is handy. Stick that down on the inside. All right, so I will set him aside to dry. I think that came out really cute. Last but not least is this card. I think this card is adorable. So I need to cut it this way to be 7 inches, but I can't really cut off any of that word or much of that word. And I do want to keep the top and the bottom together. I'm going to use a little piece of washi tape since it doesn't stick really well, and I'm just gonna stick it in the middle just to hold those together because I want to make sure I'm cutting them to the same size. Oh, I'm probably gonna have to use this cutter. So I'm gonna start by cutting it on the side as close to Merry Christmas as I can. The reason I'm using this trimmer is because I'm cutting 2 thicknesses of cardstock. So I also want to look at it from top to bottom. I am going to have to take a sliver off of probably the bottom. Let's see if that was enough. Not exactly. Take a little bit more. All right, and then I'm going to see how much I can take off of that left side, how much I need to take off of that left side, and I'll make a mark. I'm going to make it just a tiny bit smaller than the card. Again, I'm going to have just a super tiny border. And I still think I need to take some off the top or the bottom. Yeah. I'm going to take a super tiny sliver off that top. I don't want to cut too much off of the top because then I'll lose some of that image. Alright, so then that gives me just a super tiny background, which is perfect. Now I do want to keep this sentiment on the inside. And if I put this on, you can tell that this card doesn't go really any lower than this white piece. So I can cut this out using this paper trimmer, and I will still have enough on the card to do what I need it to do. I am not looking at it exactly head on, so it's hard for me to line it up without getting my head in the camera. So I have a couple pieces I need to trim. I'm just going to go ahead and trim them with my scissors. And then I'll trim it up with the paper trimmer at the end. Okay. So if I still put this over that, you can't even tell that I took that out, and I was still able to save that sentiment. So I'm going to trim up this sentiment a little bit better, just on the very edge there. Give it a more defined edge. I like my edges super clean and super straight. And that edge is good. Okay, so we still have that for the middle. Inside, I should say, not middle. All right, so we'll put this down. I'm going to put this down first. Use what of my tape I have left, and then in between videos I will switch it out. I might make a video of how to change this tape. Problem is, every time I do it, I'm so clumsy at it because I forget how to do it. Alright, so for this bottom image, I want the bottom to stick down, but I want there to be some dimension behind this top piece. So I'm going to put glue or tape down at the bottom, a couple layers. And that was all of my tape, which is fine. That's okay, because I don't need that now. And I'm going to use some of this. I will put it along the edge here. Okay, I'm going to line up the bottom portion of it and the sides with these corners. And then push it down. So there we have the hill. It's up off the card, so it is dimensional. And we have that little house. And we have a very, very cool card. And I don't think this card needs any additional embellishments on it. It has a ton of glitter. It's already raised up. I'm going to go ahead and mat the inside on this same color cardstock. By the way, my channel is just about at 200 viewers. Hopefully I'll have, or 200 subscribers. I hope to have 200 subscribers by the time this airs. When I do have 200 subscribers, I'll be doing a giveaway. So that's really exciting. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And share my video with your friends, your crafty friends. Head on over to my Facebook group, Create with CraftyRia. I just started a whole new thing over there for Happy Mail, where we can share our addresses with each other if you want. It's optional. That way we can send and receive Happy Mail from each other. I think that would be kind of fun. It's a private group, so it's just us YouTubers there. So you don't have to worry about your address being out there to the public. Alright, so there we have it. We have this really, really cute card. And we have this Let It Snow. I like it. And we have Mr. Snowman. And if you can see, that glue is pretty much dry. It is almost totally clear. When it's completely dry, it will be totally clear and you won't even be able to tell that I glued that on, and that should be on there pretty good. So there we have 3 cards recycled with snowmen on them. Very cool. Couple different techniques. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. I love to hear your comments. I want to thank everybody that's been leaving me really nice, really kind comments. It really makes my day when I go through and I read them, and I really try to respond to all of them. And like I said before, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button. Once I get to 200, I'm going to do a giveaway, and I want you to be part of that. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and go get crafting. Bye-bye.